I, 58-year-old female, married my husband, 61-year-old male, when our oldest kids were both 16 years old and about to be juniors. We each had one younger kid, so 4 kids in total. My ex is not involved at all, and his ex got his kids every other weekend. The transition was tough at first, but the kids are all really great and made it work and even ended up being close. Our 2 oldest kids are now both 22 years old and graduating college. They didn't go to the same school, but schools right near each other. Think Boston University and Northeastern. I know they saw each other occasionally and had some of the same friends. Last weekend, they came home and told us they're dating. They acted like we should be excited, but I honestly felt nauseous. They lived in the same house for high school and come back for all breaks in summer. I feel like they were probably flirting or getting physical in our house, and I was too naive to realize. I'm really upset with my daughter and don't understand why, in a whole world of people, she had to do this. He is a kind boy, and of course, I think the world of my daughter, and I know they could both find suitable partners who aren't each other. Immediately, my younger son was making fun of them for copying porn, which is just disgusting. I find this all extremely embarrassing and can't imagine telling extended family or neighbors this. I told them they were uninvited to the holidays and that they couldn't stay under my roof again. My daughter has an apartment at school that we pay for, so it's not like she would be homeless. She screamed at me and left, and my husband thinks I was too harsh. I just need a dose of reality here and simply can't see how this could work. Am I the idiot? My son made this account for me to ask this, so I hope this is all posted correctly and following the rules. Now here are the comments. Comment 1. You're the idiot. They were teenagers when they met, and now they're adults. If you hadn't married the boy's father, he would have been no different than a high school and college boyfriend. It's totally normal and healthy for teenagers to individuate and test romantic love. I think you're projecting an idea onto them that they don't share about your family relationship. They aren't brother and sister and never will be. If you fell in love with the boy's father, it should be no surprise that your daughter would fall in love with the son. You all likely share similar value systems, and that is something to be celebrated, not scorned. The only advice these kids need is making sure they both understand that they will always be connected by family, even if they break up. As long as they can respect that, what harm can come? What you are doing will divide your family, and it won't stop them. It might cost you your marriage and relationship with your daughter. Comment 2. You're the idiot. This is a challenging situation. Unfortunately, you are handling it all wrong. All wrong. You seem more focused on your social embarrassment and lurid imaginings of what they might have done in the past than in thinking this through. You seem more interested in wielding what limited power you have like a sledgehammer, rather than working with your husband to develop a unified and kind approach. You realize that the person you may be icing out of the family is you, right? Comment 3. You're the idiot. Please explain your issues with it, and to say going too far is insufficient. Otherwise, there are no issues. They have been together since they were 16. They are not genetically related. Or are you keeping secrets? They went to different colleges, and each had a unique experience. They are good for each other. They support each other, clearly better than you do. Other than your discomfort at the country club introducing your children, what is the issue? Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my friend to mind her own business when she made an unsolicited comment about my weight? So, I, 16-year-old female, have been struggling with my weight since before high school. I've tried different diets, workout routines, and even consulting a nutritionist, but nothing has worked for me. I've been trying to be more accepting of my body and trying to adopt a healthier mindset. But it's hard when my friends constantly make derogatory remarks about my appearance. Recently, I was having an outing with some friends when one of my closest friends made a comment about my weight and how I've let myself go. I was taken aback and asked her why she felt it was appropriate to comment on someone's weight, especially when it's none of her business. I told her that making those types of comments is incredibly hurtful and that it's something I've struggled with my whole life. She argued that she was just looking out for me and that I needed to hear the truth. Am I the a-hole for calling her out on her comment and telling her to mind her own business? Now here are the comments. Comment 1. That's like when someone asks you what happened to your face because you have acne or a pimple. Like, dude, you think I don't know about this big pimple on my face? You think now that you've said something, I can finally see it and do something about it? Like I haven't been trying ever since I saw it forming on my face. Not the idiot, good luck on your journey. I've been relatively thin my whole life and I still struggle with weight. It's hard. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It's none of her business. Some people are just built bigger. I'm the same way. I go to the gym regularly and my fiance and I try to eat healthy, but that's just how I'm built. It would be incredibly upsetting if my friends decided to make rude comments about my weight. Also, you are at an age where those sorts of comments can have a serious impact on your mental health. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Good job not only for standing up for yourself, but for educating her as well. While many people have a tendency to weight shame, some might genuinely be concerned and make comments without realizing the effect it might have. So by you educating her and giving her a solid reason for why you were upset, you may have helped her avoid making comments like that in the future, not just to you, but to others. Now, for the next story. I, 30s female, have been dating a man, 30s male, for a couple of years. Generally, things have been rocky. Rocky because he is unemployed, lives with his parents, and has a history of defensiveness that can make him uncomfortable to be around. This is related to his lack of employment. I have a lot of empathy for him because he recently went through a life-altering illness, and because at the core of it, I think he does have a good heart. But recently, my empathy ran out. He often stays at my house for days at a time and enjoys my cooking. I made a from-scratch lasagna, all the way down to pulling the tomatoes out of the garden. We had a spoken agreement that he would tidy up afterward. After I ate, I went upstairs, had a bath, and fell asleep in bed. Side note, I work in epidemiology and often talk about food safety as something I'm very meticulous about because I see the statistics. I woke up the next morning after the lasagna and went to the kitchen to see it out on the counter, left out all night, spoiled. I winced, and before dealing with it, went to take my dog out and run her around before breakfast. When I got back in, he had woken up, clearly saw that he left the lasagna out and put it in the fridge. I discovered this when I went back to the kitchen to get a glass of water. He was willing to risk getting me sick and save face by putting it in the fridge after it had sat out for 14 hours. If I didn't know any better, I would have potentially eaten it. Knowing he's a bit fragile, I tried to talk to him about it. I didn't expect him to respond the way he did. When I asked him if he knew that eating food left out is unsafe, he said he didn't. After 2 years together, and me setting boundaries around food safety, that didn't make sense to me, so I paused and looked at him confused. He screamed as loud as he could an inch from my face. "I didn't know! Don't look at me like I'm frickin' stupid!" And then continued to go on, very agitated that I always make assumptions that he knows what he doesn't. I responded with, "Get out," repeatedly, calmly. I know how much I give and bring to the table. I wasn't about to be yelled at and have to deal with a mad at me for being mad scenario. He gathered his things and left. It's been almost a week, and I have heard nothing from him. I really think it's over because of lasagna. Am I the idiot? Edit. All of his belongings were dropped off at his parents' house. His dad hugged me and apologized for his son, who was not there. It was a little emotional. Thank you to everyone for helping me see my blind spots with this man. It looks more ridiculous the further behind me it gets. And for those of you who are asking, I am a communicable disease epidemiologist. I understand the nuances of food safety quite well. Now, for the next story. My wife of 11 years, together for 19, unexpectedly passed away in her sleep recently at the age of 45. She had no known health problems and results are still pending. About 4 months ago, we unofficially separated. Nothing legal, she got her own apartment, we were still very civil. It was 100% my fault. I have severe depression and anxiety plus ADHD and recently diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum. She had to get away. Fortunately, I got a therapist and someone to manage my meds, and I really feel I'm on the right road. A long road to walk, but the right road. She had always kept the door open to possibly reconciling in the future if my mental health improved. Just ran out of time. There were a few things we discussed over the years about her final wishes. One had to do with her sorority pin. It seems like a small deal, but she was 100% certain she wanted to follow all their traditions. One of which is sending the pin back to headquarters after the service. Her mother is totally against this and wants to keep it. She doesn't even want to display it the correct way at the service. Since we were unofficially separated, I am still the next of kin, so technically, I have all the decision-making power. I am putting my foot down on this and demanding we respect her final wishes. I'm willing to compromise on other items, but the ones that we discussed, and I'm 100% sure about her wishes, I am not. I am being called an idiot for trying to override a grieving mother. So, am I the idiot? Now here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Sorry for your loss. If it was important enough for your late wife to specify this request from you, then it's your responsibility to handle it for her. You can give her mother her graduation cap and gown or pictures, whatever, but this was something she felt strongly enough about to tell you and ask you to do this for her. It would be kind and respectful for you to follow her last wishes. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Very sorry for your loss. Honoring your wife's wishes shows that you love and respect her. I'm not sure how this would make you an AH. Also, it seems like you are being mindful that her mother is going through an unbearable loss right now. Would it still be honoring your wife's wishes to keep the pin for the time being and return it at a later date when emotions aren't so raw? Comment 3. Not the idiot. You're doing what her daughter made clear she wanted. It's not ambiguous or open to interpretation. It's what she very clearly laid out. Now for the next story. My dad has been dating Carrie for like 4 years. At first I was fine with her, but then she started to get involved in my business with my dad and tried bullying, lying, and telling me what to do. She started yelling at me, so I yelled at her. My dad got between us, and she left. That was like last year, and she has not come back. Well, now she's back, and I just ignore her. Last night, my little brother Evan got into a fight with my dad over his bedtime, and he didn't want to have his night shower with him. Carrie told Evan not to raise his voice at our dad. I told Carrie to shut the frick up, and that it's not her business. She told me not to talk to her like that, and I said I will because she isn't our parent. She then called me an idiot and told me to be quiet. I told her I'm right here if she wants to confront me. My dad told me to stay out of it, and I said I'm not letting her try to bully my little brother, and she needs to go. Carrie said she isn't scared of me, and I said cool because I'm not scared of you. She said she'll call the police, and I said do it, witch. I'll let you use my phone. She left, and my dad went with her. My dad came home and said I should apologize to her, and I said no. She should apologize for getting involved in our business and talking the way she spoke to me. I told him not to bring her over or there's going to be issues. She should apologize to me for lying about a lot of things that my dad said about me. If she's going to bully me, then I will do the same. Now for the next story. My older brother had 4 kids with his ex-wife. I didn't grow up with him and never met him until I was in my 20s. A couple years later, he got divorced because he was cheating. They had 4 young kids at the time, aged from 10, 2. So, the dude wasn't paying child support for years. It's been about 14 years since the split. He was still getting full access to the kids, and yet wasn't supporting or taking care of them at all. My sister-in-law sort of just let it slide. I kept in touch, but since I didn't know her as well. Eventually, we had a talk about things, and she was stressed over money. I asked about the money he was sending. Then she told me he hasn't. So, me thinking this is unfair for a single mom to be financing 4 kids on her own, I pushed her into filing for child support. Her worry was that her loss would resent her for doing that to their dad. Yeah, I know. Anyway, eventually she got the process going, and he was being charged each month out of his paycheck. So what does my incredibly responsible brother do? Only half-brother. Don't blame both my parents. He quits his job and lives off our other brother so he could avoid paying. Nope. I didn't know this right away, so when I found out, I insisted she take this up further and escalate the situation with the government. Basically, he's screwed. Even though the kids are now older and only one is under 18, he still owes the back support for years to come. He found out I'm the one feeding her info about how to proceed, and he sent me an angry text telling me I went against Big Bro. I said he's going against his own kids. I'm just a half-brother he just met. These are his legacy. So I haven't spoken to him since, but he's on the warpath. I hear through other siblings and his ex-wife I'm not to be associated with. His daughter worked for me a short time and abruptly quit. Apparently, he told her he was upset she'd take money from me. Keep in mind, he's taking money from her now because he needs rent, and his new job is paying the child support to her mom, so his daughter owes him. Anyway, where I might be, the AH is interfering. I feel I'm not, because they are my family too. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.